Hi, this is Boone Slot Car Garage. Let's do this. Hi, I'm Boone, and this is Boone Slot Car Garage. And today, what we're gonna do is I have to move Deception Raceways, and I also have to move the HO layout. Now you're saying, well, what do you mean you got to move it? Well, we went ahead and we sold our house up here in Washington State. So first thing is, well, I sold the house, so I got to move my layouts. Second thing is that I'm not just moving it per se, like maybe 50 miles or 100 miles or maybe 500 miles or 1,000 miles or, yeah, you kind of get the idea, right? So what are we doing? Well, we're moving from up here, Washington State, all the way down here to Texas. Okay, so Dallas, Texas. But before we actually get to Dallas, the layout's gonna have to go into storage, and we're gonna stay over there in Fort Worth. So yeah, it's a process, but it's gonna be an adventure. So what we're gonna go ahead and do today is that it's not every day you have to move a layout, right? A lot of times it's a real simple type of thing. You might just have like a simple board or anything else that's real easy just to pack up the track, maybe a couple buildings, roll up a mat, and there, bam, you got it, right? Pack up your cars. But this is a little bit more intense. And so the idea is that I took the HO layout, so the 164th layout, and I have the Deception Raceways up on top. And I've taken the HO and I've secured it to the bottom of Deception Raceways, the 132nd. So that portion's already been done. It was kind of a process. I had to really kind of think about this and everything else. Second thing that I went ahead and did is I trimmed off all my electrical as far as the underside of it and got that all packed. And I went ahead and packed up my cars. So those are all safe and totes. Now comes the exciting part as far as packing up the rest of this layout. So what we're gonna go ahead and do today is that I need to pack up the track. I need to pack up all the scenery as far as the figures and the buildings and all of that. And then we're gonna have to finish up the cage on the actual layout itself, because when we pack this thing, it's laying down. I've got to go ahead and make sure it can be vertical so it can slide into the moving trailer for our movers that are coming to pack up the house. So there is a dilemma with that, because the opening on the backside of a semi-trailer will not quite work as far as how wide my layout is. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and do that, and then I've got to get my saws all out, and I've got to slice a whole entire side off Deception Raceways. Don't worry, it's not gonna be that big of a deal, because hopefully where we end up out, it's gonna be a lot bigger than this little small 2-car garage, and we can expand this thing, I'm hoping, really big. So it's just a step in the right direction. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and do that. So let's do this. Okay, so here's the layout. Now, you can see the support that I have right here. And what the plan is that I have these going down to the board of Deception and then down to the HO. And I went ahead and screwed those in so that it gives it some strength. And I went ahead and put 3 of these down this side as far as legs, because what I like to do is take the layout and we're gonna go ahead and put it on its side, and these will be the feet. So the upper portion of it, what I need to do is, first off, I need to get the track out of it. I need to get my buildings all off, all my figures, and get it all prepped for our next step. So next step, what it's gonna be, I originally planned, you can kind of tell I'm kind of scatterbrained here. We got a lot of stuff going on, moving the house and everything, going a little crazy. But the original plan is I was gonna take this side of the track off, and I was just gonna go ahead and take that and the waterfall and everything else and just pack it up separate. Started looking at it a little bit more, and the way it was built, this has the most strength to it. So I wanna leave this intact and I'm going to the opposite side. So what we're gonna do is take 2 feet off the track. So that's quite a chunk, but it's a lot easier if I have to replicate the other side than it is this side with the waterfall, the pond, and all the other stuff we did on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the other side off, which is gonna eliminate, unfortunately, the whole entire camping area. It's gonna come down through the different levels over there with all the brickwork. That's gonna have to get cut, and it's gonna go all the way down the side where the crash fencing is and all that. So my next step here is that I've got to get everything off the layout. So when we come back, we'll see what it looks like. All right, so we're back, and you can tell that I've pretty much gutted the layout. So all the buildings are gone, all the figures, and the track itself has all been removed off of it. Now, I never actually fastened my track down to the baseboard. I actually had it kind of floating, and then with the corners and stuff, with the edging that I put on, it actually just kind of locked everything into place. So being that I'm going to go ahead and move this and it needs to go up on end, I've got to make sure that I get all that stuff removed. So now that we have that, let me get over here and you can see this rope that I put in. So right here, there's a rope that's going all the way up and then all the way up onto the top portion of the layout. And what I'm going to do is I'm using that as my line, and I'm going to take my Sawzall and I'm going to cut that whole entire portion off. So yeah, we're doing definitely some surgery on this thing. So unfortunately, I've got to go across the section over there with 3 different layers with all the stonework and whatnot. But you know, all that's going to do is just give us more material to do in future videos. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting. Hopefully I don't cry while I'm cutting, but I'm going to get this all trimmed off, and we'll see what it looks like when I get all done. So I'll see you guys in just a bit. Okay, so I have my skeleton on the outside constructed, and I went ahead and tied the HO layout and the Deception Raceways together, and you can see how much I shaved off that. Now there's tons of stuff on the floor and everything else because we have a garage sale going on as far as right outside in the driveway, and I have no room to put all this rubbish that after I got done cutting this thing all apart. So I'm just kind of having to make do as we do this. So went ahead and I just constructed a skeleton over the top and then reinforced that into both layouts. And now it's about time to try to tilt this thing up on edge and see if it works. I got to disconnect the cables for the winch system, which the power winch was up there in the ceiling, but I have eyelets that are down here on the table. So what I need to do is go ahead and disconnect those so that the layout is free, and then comes the moment of truth, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to tilt this up on edge. So when we come back, we'll see if it was a success or if it was a disaster. So, well, here we go, moment of truth. All right, well, it was a success. We were able to get the layout up on end, and the HO is on the bottom side of this thing, and the cage that I built actually stayed together. So whew, that's one major thing done. Now, if we look up at the top, you can see how much of that I trimmed off. I mean, here's the front straight where the Targa Floria pit lane was at. And if we come up to the corner, you can see how that's just, it's all gone now. So I had to slice from there all the way across and took out the camping area, took out the, well, all that brickwork and stuff, that tunnel area, that's all been ripped out of there. and the Sawzall made a mess of stuff. But you know, it's just what happens. So what I'm gonna have to do now is, at the new location, we're got a whole bunch of videos ahead of us to reconstruct this thing, and hopefully we're gonna have some more room so we can just yeah, we can expand it, make it a little bit bigger. So what we have is that. So I showed you guys that, and it's up on end. And if I walk around to the other side of it, you can see the back side of this thing, or the underside. And that's the underside of the HO. So it's pancaked underneath there and all tied in. But one thing, that even slicing that off up on top, if I go like this and I bring it over, and if we look at my garage door, okay, so there's the garage door. There's the top of the layout. Garage door. Well, layout's a little bit taller than the garage door, so I'm not going to be able to move it out on end. We're going to have to tilt this thing back down, move it outside, tilt it back up, and manhandle it onto the moving truck. So hopefully this thing all stays together. I hope. I'll keep my fingers crossed. So tomorrow we got the movers coming back, and we'll get this on the truck. So we'll see you then. So it's a wrap. And the layout, it's gone. So I have to say a special thank you to Carlos and his crew from Cosmos Moving to go ahead and move this big mammoth thing down to Texas. So the next time you'll see Deception Raceways, we'll be unveiling it in the new area, and we'll see what type of work that we're gonna have to go ahead and get done. Now, until then, I just have this right here, which is a new article from Slot Car Mods, and this one right here, which is from RS65 Photo. So go ahead and check those out. Kind of cool. So I'm a little tired. It's about time to get on the road, and I gotta drive down to Texas. So I'll see you guys later. Hi, this is Boone, Slot Car Garage. Let's do this.